Hello, my brothers and sisters in Christ, and let's dive into the Word. Today's Gospel is taken from the book of Matthew, chapter 23, verses 27 to 32. Let's be honest, the past few days' Gospels have been quite intense. Jesus has been calling out the religious leaders of the time for their lifestyles, which weren't lining up with their faith and what they preached. In verses 27 and 28, he says, "Woe to you, scribes and Pharisees, you hypocrites! You are like whitewashed tombs, which appear beautiful on the outside, but inside are full of dead men's bones and every kind of filth. Even so, on the outside you appear righteous, but inside you are filled with hypocrisy and evil doing." It must have been very uncomfortable being in the position of the Pharisees, listening to all this from Jesus. But, my brothers and sisters, Jesus is speaking to us too. How often do we focus on looking good on the outside, saying the right things, praying all the novenas, attending Mass, serving in ministry, basically doing all the right things, while inside we may still carry resentment, pride, or sin? Hypocrisy is when there is a gap between what we show on the outside and who we are on the inside. We might look prayerful, charitable, and holy, but inside we may still cling to jealousy, anger, or unforgiveness. Jesus reminds us that holiness is not about appearances, but about allowing God to transform us from within, so that what we say and do flows honestly from the love of God alive in our hearts. And today, the Church gives us the feast of Saint Monica, a woman who lived this truth in a powerful way. Saint Monica endured years of suffering because of her husband's difficult temperament and her son Augustine's wayward life of rejecting the faith and chasing worldly ambitions. From the outside, Monica may have looked like a woman who was failing as a wife and mother, but within her heart, she was living her faith. She was persistent in prayer, patience, and love. She wasn't a whitewashed tomb. She was the real thing, a disciple who loved and trusted God completely and never stopped loving and praying for her family. Day after day, year after year, she prayed, she cried, she persevered. She never gave up hope. She didn't just appear holy, she truly was, because her faith was alive in her heart, sustained by trust in God's mercy. And in the end, her tears and prayers bore fruit. Augustine experienced a profound conversion and became one of the greatest saints and doctors of the Church. Monica shows us that authentic holiness is often hidden, patient, and persevering in love and prayer, even when everything looks hopeless. And in the end, her authenticity transformed not only her own life, but the life of the Church. It's not about what others see, but about who we truly are before God. So, as we reflect today, let's ask ourselves these few questions. Are there places in my life where I worry too much about appearances rather than allowing God to purify my heart? Do I live my faith in a way that is authentic even when no one is watching? And can I, like Saint Monica, remain steadfast in prayer for my loved ones, trusting that God is at work even if I don't see it yet? So as we celebrate her feast today, let us ask for Saint Monica's intercession to love with patience, to pray with persistence, to allow God's Spirit to purify our hearts, and to trust that God can bring life even out of hopelessness. May our lives, like Saint Monica's, become living prayers that draw others, especially our loved ones, closer to Christ. Have a blessed day ahead.